Hello and welcome to Bluejay Chat. This is a forum where we're going to talk with our superintendent, John Sample, about what's going on in our Merrill School District. John, thanks for coming here.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess the first thing I want to ask you is your report, because obviously you give a report every Board of Ed meeting, and I just want to know what you saw and what you did over this last month from the last board meeting.
Certainly, and I try to report those things that I've done within the month that are of particular interest to our board and to the community. One of the highlights, I think, of my superintendent report involved our tour of the fab labs in the area. And so it was myself and 3 other central office administrators, as well as Shannon Murray and a couple of tech ed teachers. Marla Conkle, community member, joined us. And we started at Anago High School because they've got a fab lab that they just started to create. And so if we're going to bring something like that to Merrill High School, we need to see how others have done it and try to avoid the pitfalls that they've run into, whether it be financial or timing or even the physical structure that they're trying to create. And so we started our tour with Anago High School. We learned a lot about those steps, and then we continued on to Rhinelander, and Rhinelander's tech ed program is a few steps ahead of ours. It's kind of where we would like to be right now. And then we finished at the Three Lakes School District, and they've got a fab lab that everybody in the state and even in the country would love to emulate, because their fab lab has been established for several years now. Their students are engaged in critical thinking skills. They're problem solving. They've got the equipment. They've got 3D laser printers, cutting tools. They're actually creating products that they can sell to the community, which helps to offset the cost of their program. And so their program is really on a pedestal. That was fantastic for us because we've got great facilities here and they could be better, and we realize that. And we want to generate student interest in Fab Lab or Production Lab or whatever we happen to name that. Essentially what it's going to do, it's going to create a better product, being our high school students, our young adults, to go out into the workforce or whether they want to pursue post-secondary education. We're giving them a chance to have critical thinking skills and also those employability skills that are going to make them very marketable.
Okay, and just for those community members that don't know, what is the Fab Lab?
A Fab Lab is also referred to as a maker space at the younger levels. It's where students actually get to create hands-on. They're going to collaborate in teams with other students, and they may be presented a problem or a challenge. How are we going to solve this? What can we create to make our community better? I know even in Three Lakes, it was something as simple as an attachment that would attach onto the end of a hose whenever you're cleaning out septic tanks. They were always having problems with those things getting clogged. And so they were able to create from design all the way through manufacturing a product that would attach to that hose, and now that's getting national attention. And so they're actually seeking a patent. That patent does not belong to Three Lakes High School. That patent belongs actually to those students that created that in that lab.
Wow.
So it can be something like that, and it could also incorporate the CAD system where you're actually designing and maybe not producing anything. Even if you take, we could actually have a fab lab here in Merrill High School if we were to take what we do in the auto shop and open it up to the community and say, hey, you want an oil change or a wheel alignment? The students would take that from start to finish. They would speak to the customer, learn those customer skills, learn those relationship skills that you need in business, be able to draw up, write up the price, perform the task, and then hopefully you've got a customer that comes back. And so it's really creating what they're going to be doing for the rest of their lives here in the high school. A Fab Lab incorporates science teachers. It incorporates the marketing and the business side of things. Because anytime you're going to create something, let's say you're doing a t-shirt like what is taking place at Anago, you're going to design that t-shirt. You're going to order those shirts in bulk. You're going to figure out the cost estimates versus your profit. So there's a whole side to this rather than just saying, that looks like a great design, let's put it on a shirt and see if it sells. It involves very many aspects of the high school. And so those are the real world skills that we want to give our students in whatever we create. So that's essentially what a Fab Lab is. It's working hands-on, it's critical thinking, it's problem-solving skills, and it's getting students ready for not just manufacturing, but design. You know, so many of our things are now going automated. And I remember back when ATMs first came around in the banks, people were upset because, oh, we've got an automated teller machine that is now laying off 10, 12 employees, you know, at the bank. But somebody has to work on those machines. Somebody has to install those machines. Somebody has to maintain those machines. It's certainly not going to be the bank tellers, but that's also created jobs for other people. And so that's kind of what a fabrication lab does, is it talks about those types of issues, and it tries to solve problems with kids thinking critically and working with their hands.
Yeah, definitely has perked my interest a lot. Would love to see that come here. Anything else going on with the school district that you'd like to?
I attended the Merrill High School Food Pantry grand opening. That's a wonderful service for our students. Students had so much involvement in that, and given that space, they really made it their own, and we've got all kinds of donations and support coming from the community. We really are a community within a community, and so a lot of times I think that our school district thinks that it's a standalone, but the more we open our doors and let the community in, and vice versa, open the doors and let our students out into the community, the better off we're going to be. I see that MHS Food Pantry as one of those. It's an end result in something that's providing positive service for those in need, and it was created by students who recognize there's a problem, here's how we can solve it. One other exciting thing that we did just yesterday, it was Shannon Murray and Mr. Beyer at Central Office and myself were able to tour the Weinbrenner Shoe Factory. And as you know, they've been in business for 125 years, so they're doing a lot of great things.
Yes, they've actually asked us to help them build a commercial type deal at one point in time. I think it was like 2 years ago. Perfect. They had contacted us for that, and so we've here at Merrill Productions, we've been in their facility, and it's a wonderful facility. Yeah, they've done a lot of good work, and
it really is, and that's another example too of community participation and partnership. They've given our tech ed department, whatever we may want to call that in the future, a production lab or a fab lab, we already have the space, but they've actually provided and donated to us 2 industrial sewing machines. A lot of times when you're thinking about Fab Lab, you think about plastics with the 3D printer, you think about metals with welding and those types of things, and you think about wood with the wood shop. This is something entirely different. This is leather, and so to be able to create on 2 sewing machines that they've provided, they're going to maintain and they're going to provide the training for our students. That works hand in hand with, they have a certain skill set of employee, and if a student is so inclined to go in that direction, they can leave here, they can leave Merrill High School after they walk across the stage and be 10 steps ahead of any other employee that may be wanting to be employed by Weinbrenner Shoe Factory. So that's exactly what the whole partnership is about. And it is an amazing facility over there. Very nice people, and they're obviously doing a lot of things right.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot of things for the community too that I've seen.
Yes.
So some of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I saw on the agenda the Kids Kingdom. Want to know what that is? What is Kids Kingdom?
Kids Kingdom is a child care facility, and it's located just to the south of Central Office. It is in the building that once was our Head Start early childhood program.
Okay.
So before they moved out to Pine River, they occupied that space. As you know, Pine River Elementary closed as an elementary school. That became now our Head Start early childhood program and 4K program. And so we had a building sitting empty. And I remember being at many board meetings in the past that said, what are we going to do? We're not in the real estate business. And so we opened it up as a child care. We had one company or one group come forward and say, Kids Kingdom, we're Kids Kingdom, we'd like to occupy this space because that meets our needs. They've got a wonderful playground facility there. It's already fenced.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I remember being there as a preschooler, so.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So you know.
I know that facility is absolutely great. Yeah, it was a shame when it just became vacant and sat there for, I don't even remember how long it sat vacant.
Yeah, and their playscape, it's nice to see that children are taking advantage of that now. So we lease to them, and they pay us rent. We still maintain the physical structure of that building, but they're occupying it and they're paying us rent. And so that's what we did last night, was we extended the lease agreement through October, I believe.
Okay, and it's Kids Kingdom for those who are looking to send their kids there.
Kids Kingdom, we can put a plug in for them. And
All right,
I know it's a nice facility.
Yeah. Well, I would consider them part of the Merrill School District since they are working with us. So.
And they're on our campus.
Yep. So I saw graduation requirements also change. So what are the new changes to the graduation requirements?
Our incoming freshmen may not be happy. It's not the end of the world. In fact, it's an opportunity for them to grow. So our class of 2021 will be required to take 23 and a half credits, whereas our seniors right now and our sophomores and juniors are only required 21 and a half credits. By giving 2 extra credits, again, that works back into motivating and engaging students and having students take more advantage of the electives that we offer and hearing what they're interested in. If we have 50, 60, 70 students that say, hey, I really would like to get behind those sewing machines and create something, whether it be upholstery or a manufacturing of leather products, those types of things. That's why we'd like for them to explore those interests before they leave, because when you leave, sometimes it's too late if you're undecided as to what you want to do with your future. It's nice if students have an idea. I changed my major numerous times throughout college and my undergrad years, and sometimes that can cost you a little bit of money and time. And so if we can get students to take the 23 and a half credits and 2 extra credits of electives, I'm thinking that we're going to be able to provide them with an opportunity to engage in something that they're really interested in. And maybe they don't even know it. I know I had an upholstery class in high school. We were making beanbag chairs. We're making stuffed animals for the Children's Hospital. We're doing diamond tuck and roll front seats, back seats of automobiles, boat seats, motorcycle seats, all those things. And if I had never taken that class, I wouldn't have known what I enjoyed. So I stepped outside of my comfort zone. I think I took it because a couple of my buddies were taking it, and I fell in love with something. Now, I chose a different career, but I certainly plan on pursuing that as a hobby after I retire. So that's exactly why we wanted to increase. It's also a DPI or a state recommendation that all high schools have 23 and a half credits, so that's exactly why we went there.
Okay, yeah, and that definitely, I've been saying for a while too that the graduation requirements seemed a little low. My brother, for example, graduated at semester, and and it seemed to me like he didn't do as much as I did to graduate. So it was like, well, maybe the requirements do need to go up, especially with the scheduling that we did have that we're going away from. But at the same time, even with the old scheduling, I remember kids graduating that semester because they blasted through everything. So
sure, and those students that graduate in 3 years, for some students that's great. For other students, they graduate in 3 years, and it's now what? Take advantage of those high school years, those 4 years that you're in high school, because we are going to start to be able to create a lot more offerings and start to engage students even more than we are now. We're doing an exceptional job now, but the longer we can keep students, I think the better off they're going to be as far as what their interests are after high school. And that certainly doesn't mean that those that are college-bound are going to start later, that they can't graduate in 3 years and start in their college because of the dual enrollment that we offer as well.
Right, and that's the one thing I love about Merrill High School is we do have the dual enrollment. That's something that not a whole lot of schools do offer really anymore, and we offer it in several areas.
Sure.
Including Merrill Productions here. We're working on that, so.
Absolutely, and a student really could graduate at the end of 4 years and have at least a semester of their college already taken.
For free,
they can earn
too.
that many credits for free, absolutely. And it's a great program that I wish more students would take advantage of.
Exactly. So the proposed timber sale at Nels P, I'm going to botch this one, Everju Memorial School Forest.
That's why I just call it the school forest.
All right, yep. So Nels School Forest. So there is the timber sale there. I think they do it every year, or am I?
They're on a schedule of every 3 to 5 years,
Okay.
depending on what they need to do. And it's not that they're going to come through. This is certainly not for profit. It's not anything that's prompted by revenue as much as it's doing what's healthy for our forest. You know, I know that my wife gets a little upset when she sees that loggers have come in and just decimated a forest. And I said, but that's a renewable resource. A lot of times they do that for health purposes as well. Sometimes it's based on sales, but ours at both the school forest that we have, and then also recently the Maple Grove School Forest was established. And so any logging that we do there is for the health of the woods. We're taking out smaller trees. We're working very closely with DNR. We want to have as minimal footprint as we possibly can as we go in, take those trees out that create a healthy forest, and then get back out of there again. So there's a lot of things that go into play here. We're talking about the conditions of the soil. They have to be just right before we can go in and remove trees, because we don't want our school forest to be torn up. And then, of course, the bonus part of that is there is a timber sale that comes with that too. And so that helps offset our costs a little bit.
Right, and I know if the forest gets overcome with trees, everything ends up dying anyways, and then there's no more school forest for all these kids to go in.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful facility too that we have here at Merrill High School.
It's a real gem. I've been to several school forests, and of course I'm partial, but ours truly is just the size. There's very few school forests, I think, in the country that are as large as ours. So we have a lot to offer.
Yeah, with a wonderful person out there too.
A wonderful, wonderful person with Russ Nolan operating things. We're real happy to have 3 weeks of summer school out there too.
Oh.
So there's going to be 1 week with the boys, 1 week with the girls, and then another week which is geared towards those kids that want to be more physically fit and leaning towards the athletic side of things with a whole bunch of activities that they're going to do. That and the nice thing about this school forest summer school portion is you're there for the entire week. You're dropped off on Monday morning and you get to go home on Friday afternoon.
Hear that, parents? Send your kids there.
Send your children to our school forest, absolutely.
How would they sign up for that?
That's simply contacting Russ Noland at his email, which is, I believe his is russ.noland@maps.k12.wi.us. You can call central office as well, and we'll put you in touch with whether it's our elementary, our middle school, or high school summer school offerings, or the school forest. We'll have information at central office.
All right, that sounds absolutely wonderful. And then the last thing, I guess we really covered it, the AP college credit classes and all that for our kids. Are there more AP classes and stuff coming in, or?
Well, and with our schedule change at the high school, I know that anytime there's change, people panic a little bit because it's the fear of the unknown. But we're still going to maintain our youth options. We're going to still maintain our dual enrollment, so students can not only get a credit from Merrill High School, but also a credit that would transfer to any post-secondary educational institution. And so that works out well for them. That's certainly not going away. You know, I even heard rumors as late as this morning that was talking about, oh, what's going on with tech ed and the House bill. I understand that that may be going away. No, on the contrary, we're building things. Just like our schedule is not going to change those things that we've always been able to offer, we're still going to continue to offer that because it's what's right for students. And our build and our auto shop and our woods and the CAD, those things are going to continue to blossom because our community has spoken and they need employees, they need kids that can think critically. So all of those things are what's best for our students in Merrill.
Right, and I know the House bill did go away for like maybe a year or two when I was around, but at the same time you didn't have the teachers to really help supervise that, whereas now we do again. So
correct.
That definitely plays a factor into it. It's not that there isn't an interest, there's the lack of
just the instructor.
Of instructors able to do it, which
sure.
I fully understand that. So
well, and part of that too was it was several years ago that a home was built and then it sat out there where we were hoping to build our next home, but it took, I think, almost a year before we were able to find a home for that home. And so now what's really helped is, again, with our community partnership, Paul Russell from the Housing Authority has already pre-purchased the home. And so we know that we've got a seller. As soon as that home is done, we've got a location for it, it's already paid for, and not only have they provided us with a buyer, but they also are providing us with grant money so that we can continue this program. And anytime you get donations like that coming in and you've got a home for any of our builds, that's a plus. And so we're gonna continue with this program and hopefully grow it stronger than it's ever been before.
Absolutely. And the one other thing that just popped into my head since we're talking about builds, Jay Stadium.
Jay Stadium.
Lovely new stadium. This past year we got to host a playoff game, which outsold anything I think I've ever seen Merrill do. Talk to us about what's going on with that, what you know what's going on.
With Jay Stadium, I think the misconception that's out there is, wow, look what the district was able to build here. That would not have been possible without the outstanding contributions and donations from the Bierman Foundation, River Valley Bank, and others who have really came forward for that. The only money that we put into that, if you can imagine this, it was $180,000, and what you see out there is what we were able to get for $180,000. What we're looking at out there is $2.5 million worth of product. And so our budget was $180,000 because our budget was based on the need to re-slope that grass field so that water drains properly, be able to bring in good soil, black soil, and to reseed the field. And so that's where we were planning on going. It was an idea of those here in our district that said, what if we could eliminate or drastically reduce our maintenance costs by doing artificial turf? And that's where the idea grew. And so obviously community partners stepped forward, like Church Mutual, River Valley, the Bierman Foundation stepped forward and said, we can help make this happen. And so anytime those are big numbers. When we start talking about $2.5 million, that's a large number to understand, but you know, when it looks like the reality is you take a few zeros away and what we have for $2.50, we paid 18 cents of that. That's a phenomenal facility. We still have a final phase, which includes expanding that south end of the plaza and then also the restroom upgrades. And so we're still in the process of accepting donations for that. We're still selling planters and we're selling benches. And so if anybody would like to contribute to that, we're not done out there yet. But everything that you see there is bought and paid for and in large part to the community.
Right, and I know several people, including yourself, because you've talked to me about this before, donated, you know, even $100 just to put towards it.
Absolutely.
And it's an absolutely wonderful facility. I've heard nothing but good things from the community that I talk with.
When we had that playoff game, I was able to go for at least the first half. I do remember it was a very cold evening that night. And the reaction from the parents of the two teams, the fans of the two teams that were playing, was phenomenal. Everybody loved it. They couldn't believe that they're able to watch, you know, their sons playing on a field that was so nice. And it really, from the sound system to the scoreboard to the actual field itself, it's a real source of pride for our community. And
I know for that playoff game, Merrill Productions was at the fall play filming our wonderful students who put that show on, and I had looked out and had noticed a lot of cars. Did not realize that a playoff game was going on here in Merrill. Was like, wow, we're going to have a huge crowd, and then they were all there for that, which is still fantastic.
Yeah, with two events, that parking lot was jam-packed.
I heard people had to walk to get to whatever event they were going to, but
sure, and that's the way I think it should be too. We've got the facility, and when we put on, whether it be a play or a football game, we even had lacrosse on that field not long ago. Church Mutual, one of our donors, came forward and said, hey, we've got Wausau and DC Everest would like to play on an artificial turf. They couldn't get out in the mud yet. Would you guys be interested in us renting the facility for a lacrosse game? And so I was able to see that too. And again, nothing but positive, glowing comments, and I know that they want to come back. Now that does become somewhat of a revenue generator for us. So there's no reason why we can't, in that wonderful facility, start hosting state competitions. whether it be marching band, whether it be lacrosse clubs, whether it be the state playoffs or even a state championship football game, because the facility is that nice.
Yeah, and that would definitely help us here in Merrill
It would.
a lot. It would definitely put a lot of buzz around us at least. And nothing but positiveness too has come out of that facility.
And in many ways, we want to keep Merrill a best-kept secret. I don't want to tell anybody about the beautiful location where I'm living because I don't want it to be overcome.
Right.
But we also need to get the word out that Merrill is doing great things, and we're very, very proud of those projects and some of the things that we're able to do in the community and in our school district.
Right. Well, I think that sums it up for me. Is there anything else you'd like to bring forward to this edition? Or?
I don't think there's anything else. I think we covered it very well.
All right. And next month we're going to hopefully talk also with our high school principal about our graduating class of 2017. Those kids have been doing phenomenal work. I'm going to say that right now.
They really
Just
have.
Across these last 4 years, they've been phenomenal.
Graduation is always a nice culminating activity. I enjoy it. I've been in the district now for 9 years, so at the point where I'm in the district for 13 years, I'll be able to see those 4K students graduate. Then I know I've fully arrived. But even watching these students grow and become the young adults, successful adults that I know that they're going to be, it's a great activity. It's always nice to see them walk across the stage.
Well, and the show that Shannon Murray has put on since he has taken over as the high school principal is nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah.
I've been to other high school graduations, and this is something else. You know, for as small of a school as we really are, like my cousins from Cincinnati, they had to host their high school graduation at Xavier College because they needed that much room. And I mean, that's a spectacle too. But for a small school, even all my aunts and uncles said, this is absolutely fantastic.
Sure,
So,
and we're considering, I think plans are moving forward to have the graduation ceremony actually in Jay Stadium this year.
yep, I heard that one, and I'm hoping that that'll actually take place because that'll be something.
Yeah.
That'll actually be something else. But I heard that won't be confirmed till the Tuesday of graduation. Am I correct with that one?
That's correct, just because of the weather.
Right.
It can be extremely hot and humid during that time, as we know from being indoors. But then we also get rain, and when we get rain during that time of the year, it doesn't let up. So we'll confirm that then, and we'll have Plan A and Plan B in place.
All right.
So whichever way, it's going to be a spectacular night.
Hopefully. So, all right, John, thank you for joining me. Hope you'll join me next month
I
for
sure will.
the same thing.
I will be here.
And that has been Bluejay Chat. Have a good night, everyone.